David was the king. In Israel's structure, in worldly structure, like David is the guy. Nobody above the king. Like it's not like the king reports to anybody, and yet here's the king of Israel, who's always believed, Israel's always believed, listen, like God is ultimately the king. Here's the king of Israel in face of how every other nation is run, in face of how every other king operates, in face of how every other kingdom treats its king. Here's the king of Israel, the not so debated, right, top of the top saying of God, you are the king, and I will exalt you as king. To praise somebody means, in David's language, I think, to exalt them, to lift them up, and to lift them up to a place in your life that is greater than yourself. Here's David again, king of Israel, saying, I'm going to lift God up to the place of king in my life, and by implication, to the place of king for all of Israel, for the whole nation. Not just a little bit higher, but higher than all that goes on. You are the king, not just my king. But he doesn't say, I will exalt you, my God. Some translations say, my God and king. And what commentators say is, like, you've got to retain this, because what's going on here is David is making a statement not just about himself, but about all of Israel. And I think the psalm is making a statement about all creation. We praise God as the king. You see, I think that what happens is in life, we become very good at maybe separating God and spirituality and religion and our Christianity or our faith out as a portion or a part of our life. Right? And so you say, hey, I'm going to exalt you, my God and my King. I'm going to exalt you to a place of priority. But hey, listen, this is a priority in my life, my Christianity, my faith. God, the Lord, the King is a place of priority. But hey, guess what? My family is also a priority. And my job is another priority. And maybe friends and relationships, the things we do, and they are varying priorities. They are varying importance, and they are all good things. Listen, those are all good things. I just listed good things. We're designed for relationship. We're designed to work, to create, right? In the image of a creator, a God, we're designed to work. We're designed to create. And we're designed to have meaningful occupation, and we're designed to have meaningful relationships and friendships. All of those things are good. But I think what happens is that we portion it out and we say, okay, I'm gonna commit X number of, energy, space, whatever it ends up being, toward my faith, my religion, and that is gonna be separate. It's gonna be important, but it's gonna be separate from my family. At least maybe they'll overlap a little bit. And my work is something else, and I've got to put a certain amount of energy and effort and time, resourcing into my work, but it's got to have this place of priority as well, and so maybe it overlaps a little bit. It ends up looking like this really awkward Venn diagram of things, right? Of all these sort of competing interests, competing energies, competing priorities, all of them sharing, overlapping, competing for energy. And what David says, hey, listen, to live a life of praise means to lift God to the place of priority in your life. Admittedly, I was going to draw this out, and I'm like, but that looks like a pyramid scheme. Because it does, it flips up this pyramid, but what David is saying is, listen, that God as king, as the king, is the priority in your life, and everything else fits into that priority. The way you love God becomes the way you love your family. The way you love God becomes the way you love and raise, for me as a dad of girls, my kids. The way you honor God is the way you work. And the relationships that you follow, all of it comes within the umbrella of praising God. And so they're not separate things for David. And I think David wants to remind us to live a life of praise means to exalt, to lift God up to that place of king, the king. There can be only one in our life.